things seem to be very quiet around Shawano County Heritage Park. But this is deceiving. Many dedicated volunteers are working diligently to prepare the museum for the new season and for the future. On the left is a one-room schoolhouse. On the right is Cast House. The school was added to the park in 1973. It had been St. Martin's School in Belle Plaine. The Cast House was built in 1871. In 1966, the Shawano County Board offered the house to the Historical Society to be used as their headquarters. The judges' stand stood at the fairgrounds from 1884 to 1974 when it was added to the park. The log cabin, donated by Jack Schumacher, a local attorney, was added in 1978. The tire building was given to the Historical Society in 1987. It is used to display the tools of various skills and trades, household items, medical equipment, and some furniture. The oil house was added in 1989. Many cheese factory items are displayed in this building. Let's go inside now and meet Rich Huffman, one of the volunteers. Rich, would you like to tell us how you got involved in the Historical Society?
I've always had an interest in because of my background, I teach U.S. history, so I've always had a love or interest in history. We are planning for the future that we're looking at getting this Heritage Park. We want to make it a green park, and also we want, because it's the seat of where Shawano County started, is we would like to eventually build a museum here so we can house our collection and preserve more of the artifacts and also the archives from throughout the county, all 25 towns, 10 villages in the city. And so right now we're in the process of getting the land surveyed, and then a blueprint's going to be drawn up. So we have committees working on where the placement of the buildings, how the layout of the new museum. Karen Grover has a committee where they're looking at a river walk, and they're going to put in native plants and trees, and we just want to really make this the jewel of Shawano County.
Ginny Reinecke has volunteered to show us around the Cast House and many of the special treasures in the collection.
It's been modified over the years. It was rented for a while. For a while, it was used as county offices. This is the bedroom of the Cast House. This would be like the master bedroom. And this bed was used in Shawano's original hotel, the Westcott House. Paper pot is a part of this entire set. The mug, soap dish, water pitcher, and wash bowl, and they're all part of the same set. This dresser set, this silver plated dresser set, vanity set, was a gift of Neva Meggett. And her great-great-grandfather, Elias Murray, was one of the original settlers to this area. He was a superintendent of the Indians and moved the tribe from the Oshkosh area up to the present-day reservation. And she saved all these wonderful artifacts over the years and donated many of them to the Historical Society. The items that are in our collection are donations from Shawano County people. Owners of this stove were William and Albertine Benke. They were both born in Germany. William was born in 1842 and died in 1898 from a horse bite. Albertine was born 1841 and died in 1926. They married in Germany and came to live in Dodge County, Wisconsin near Iron Ridge. They moved to the White Clay Lake area in 1873. This stove was handed down to 3 generations, and in 1973 their grandson donated it to the County Historical Society.
Since 1940, many community members have worked hard to make Heritage Park a success. The group is grateful to all who have donated artifacts for display. For the past several years, the Society, under the direction of Darlene Heller, has chronicled churches, cheese factories, and schools in the county. Each year, there is a different display at the Shawano County Fair. Can you tell me about the Indian artifacts?
Many of the Indian artifacts, not all, but many of them, were the gift of Neva Meggett, and they came from Nebraska. Others were part of the Oglala Sioux, so many of our artifacts came from the Oglala. Neva Meggett lived in Chad Run, Nebraska as a child, and she must have been a collector even back then. And then the Historical Society actually purchased these items. Oh yeah. There's an interesting history here. When the Indians needed food and other materials, they would bring the articles such as you see in this showcase to Mr. Jacobson, and they asked him to hold them until they could redeem them with cash. He gave them food, clothing, and cash. It was more or less like a pawn operation. All of the articles in this showcase were once the property of Chief Big Hawk, the last of the Big Hawks. When his people were starving in the woods near Wittenberg, Chief Big Hawk gave Mr. Jacobson the articles in trade for money. Okay, this is a World War I Army uniform. Is this portrait? He was a Spanish-American war veteran from the Shawano County area. And this portrait is from 1894, I believe. An early vacuum cleaner. Can you imagine trying to haul that one up and down stairs? All the attachments and hoses are on the inside. This is a wedding gown from 1912. Notice the beautiful fringe, the satin bows, the heavy lace. It's in absolutely fabulous condition. The 1920s from the flapper era, royal blue velvet. All of the detail you see on there are tiny blue beads and silver embroidery. This was worn by Sarah Upham Robinson. The Uphams had a department store in the early days of Shawano and were a leading family. And this isn't particularly fancy or beautiful, but it's historically very significant. This dress was worn by Margaret Murray, who was one of the early settlers of Shawano County. She came here in 1853, and we do have a photograph of the lady wearing this dress. Her daughter Mary was the first school teacher here. When I first started doing inventory of the clothing, I came across this dress, and it was dirty. I took it to Town and Country Cleaners and asked Mr. Zerden if it could be cleaned. And he didn't put it through he treated it as if it were his own and gently soaked it, and it took several days for it to be cleaned. But this is Irish linen. It could have been either a wedding dress or a going away dress after the wedding. This was worn by Elizabeth Black for her marriage to Steve Miller. This is a wedding gown from the flapper era, 1925. Our older items, this is a bread dough mixing trough, and it was a wedding gift. It was made in Germany in the 1870s and then brought to this country.
If you would like to become a member of the Historical Society, call 526-3323. Thank you.